evil. You're both being Cain in that moment. I don't care. If you are willing to resort to taking another person's life or beating the hell out of them for any reason, and yes, it's like, well, what about criminals? What about people like... I'm not talking about justice being served. I'm talking about being brutal because you want your way. Wanting your way and not God's way makes you a narcissist. Because you're putting yourself over God. I mean, I know it may sound a bit rude, but it's just the truth of it. There's a different way of playing. There has to be, and we have to be willing to try it. Because this same cycle over and over again, over and over and over again, repeating the same thing and expecting a different result is never going to work. It hasn't this long. It's not going to change no matter how much we want it to. Because it has to be changed by God. Human beings, we all backslide. I had written down here... a little note here about, and remember the ancient prophets who were persecuted in the same way. Because there is Jesus grieving in Jerusalem, and I had written down the note of Matthew 23:37, which we'll get to. It's the Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones God's messengers. How often I've wanted to gather your children together as a hen protects her chicks beneath her wing, but you wouldn't let me. And now, look at your house. It's abandoned and desolate. For I tell you this, you will never see me again until you say, blessings on the one who comes in the name of the Lord. We see that God's prophets are usually persecuted. Like, read the Scroll of the 12. They don't get a lot of love. In fact, they point out a lot of the stuff going wrong and are usually hated for it. It's nice to know we're in good company. This isn't right. Well, shut up. Same thing. So don't be mad. Don't hate. Don't want to belittle them. Be glad you're in good company. So the world says, well, okay. Does that affect you? No. You live by a different set of rules. We are God's children. We live by a different set of rules. The enemy has no dominion. Words may have power, yes, but God's word is final. So, I'm going to speak this over you. No, you're not. God speaks his truth over me. The world, it's there. We're in it, not of it. And I love the fact that through all of it, God's right there with us, pointing out how to live, how to love, how to be. Because, if we want to be comforted, then be willing to mourn. Don't see it as a bad thing. See it as an opportunity to let wounds heal. And the true irony of ironies here, just thinking about what's going on, and then I'll wrap it up, is those who are humble, they will inherit the whole earth. We have people fighting and vying for power and control. And they're just repeating the same thing that happened with the snake in the garden. I'll do it the world's way, the enemy's way. And then I'll get the whole world. I'll get the whole pie I needed to. I'll have wealth and power and riches and prestige, and I'll be known by everybody. You're known by God. Isn't that more important? To know your Creator than to just try and climb your way to the top of a temporary pile that doesn't have any merit anywhere. The people who end up giving the earth, even in Genesis, everything the snake promised them, they already had. They just had to wait and be patient. Trust in the Lord's timing and not their own. Well, I will see you guys tomorrow as we continue on into Jesus' teaching about salt and light. Should be fun, especially for any gardeners out there. See you then.